Today I want to do something different. I'm going to answer some questions from people on Quora. Now, you can go to Quora.com, find me, Nick Haralambous, and I'm going to be answering startup, business, side hustle, founder, entrepreneurship, investor questions. And I'm going to pick some of the favorite ones to answer in these videos, give the answer so that we can discuss them a little bit more. So the very first one that I want to talk about is, what are some of the mistakes that first-time entrepreneurs make? And I love this question because it's really, really important that you understand the mistakes so you can learn from them and move on. So by the end of this video, you're gonna have a clear idea of what I think some of the first time mistakes you'll make when you start a business are. So let's get into it. So as many of you know, I started my first business when I was 16. Since then, I've started around about 15 businesses in 22 years. I've had 3 successful exits and everything else has been a failure. That's 12 failures back to back to back. So as much as I know what it's like to build a business that is profitable, I also know what it's like to build a business that fails dramatically. So here we go with the first thing that I think people need to know about starting a business to try and avoid. So here are the high-level things that I want you to understand to begin with. The first is some of my favorite advice to give to people, whether they're building a persona online, writing a book and publishing it, starting a business or whatever. Nobody cares about you. That really hurts to say, it really hurts to hear, but it's the truth. Nobody gives a damn about you succeeding or failing. Nobody gives a damn about your product. Nobody gives a damn about your service. And that's something you have to understand early on. If you understand that nobody cares about you, then you're not going to make the mistake of worrying about what people think. That's actually the mistake that most people make when they kick off. 5 keywords that people screw up and think about too often is, what will other people think? And you've got to stop caring about what other people think. The next is tied to this is, nobody's waiting for you to fail. You think that your friends are angry at you. You think that they're in the background just talking about you all the time, waiting for you to fail, but they're not. People inherently don't think about you at all. Not success, not failure, not day-to-day, not anything. So don't worry about failing because nobody's waiting for you to fail. Then the thing that most first-time entrepreneurs make a mistake is focusing on the product or service and not the customer. The customer should be your absolutely number one focus from day one. You have to understand who they are, where they are, what they like, what they do, what they spend their money on, who their friends are, how often they think about, talk about, and do certain things. The more you understand about your perceived customer, the more you'll be able to sell to them. My friend Rich Mulholland likes to say, you've got the accident and you've got the ambulance, you have to figure out which one you're selling to whom. And oftentimes you have to sell the accident, not the ambulance. Sell the problem, not the solution. That's not true for every situation, but it's a great analogy. Who is your customer? What is their accident? And does your ambulance take them to a place to make them better? Think about that. The next thing to understand about starting a small business is, success is about selling. The more you sell, the more you will sell. And this is a key thing. Making 10 phone calls and getting rejected 10 times doesn't mean you failed. It means you haven't made enough sales. So start calling people, start emailing people, start finding your customers, start getting into the game of selling, because small businesses live and die on sales. Not on word of mouth, not on how cool your product is, not on how sexy your website looks. It's about selling, the act of selling. So stop overthinking this and go out and sell. This one should cut deep for anybody who's trying to PR a launch. Launching is not a big event. Just because you have decided to tell the world that you exist doesn't mean that the world should care about it. What matters most is sales, your profit. How many customers are you getting through the door? I don't care that you've launched a business. Millions of businesses launch every day, but most of them fail. So forget about your launch PR, forget about your launch tactics. Go out, talk to your customers and make a sale. The next one is, launch as soon as you can. Yes, launching is not a PRable event, but actually launching and getting out to your customers is important. So stop delaying, stop worrying about perfection. You are not a perfectionist. If it's good enough to make a sale, then it's good enough to launch. So launch, because once your product or service is out in the wild, people will use it and you don't know how they're going to use it. So it's important to launch so that you can figure out how people are using your product or service, and then you can iterate and make it better for them. Without that initial getting it out there phase, how do you know what people want from you? Then the final 2. Profitability is an achievement to be spoken about. The way to get profitable is to make sales and spend less money than you earn. Really simple. And tied to that is, if you're looking to raise funding as a young first-time entrepreneur, Profitable businesses raise more funding. Profitable businesses have more leverage. Profitable businesses don't need to raise funding and therefore get the best terms when they do. So your primary objective as an entrepreneur starting a business is to get profitable as soon as possible, maintain that profitability even when you're going out to fundraise. And that's it. Those are some of the pieces of advice that I would dish out to first-time entrepreneurs building a business so that they can try and avoid the traps of starting a business. It's hard, but I can't wait to see what you're going to put out into the world. And remember, it is up to you to do the work. So go out and do it. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be answering questions like this far into the future. I am giving away businesses. I'm helping you start businesses. So check out slowhustle.org for everything to do with starting a business. And until the next video, go out and get building.